Hello and welcome everyone to this webinar series by Cognitus, where we talk about the most interesting technologies in the SAP world that we bring to the table. We always have amazing guests, and today we're joined by Dennis Gustin, who is the head of the ISBN practice here at Cognitus. He has some big announcements for us. So welcome to all that who have joined this webinar today, and welcome, Dennis.
Thank you, Hirsch. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so great. We're all preparing for Spend Connect Live in Dallas, Texas, October 24th to 26th. Cognitus is going to be there in booth 206. We have some great announcements to be made. So I'm going to, today be asking Dennis about this great announcement and giving everybody a little bit of a sneak peek into what we're doing at the event. What is this solution that we're bringing to the table, and how it's going to be a true game changer. So a lot of people have been waiting for it. But before I, hand it over to Dennis to tell us more about the big announcement, for those who have joined the Cognitus webinar series for the first time, I would like to take just a quick moment to introduce Cognitus. Cognitus is a SAP partner, gold partner here, and also a co-innovation partner for the aerospace and defense industries. We've got a lot of solutions in play for the aerospace and defense, regulated industries, government contractors. Our portfolio doesn't only stop there. We have professional services, also many more. So we bring solutions, IP, SAP Qualified Partner Package solutions that truly have extended the core capabilities of SAP solutions. They have enabled rapid deployment, and with those in mind was created this new solution that Dennis is just going to talk about. So I'm going to remove the suspense out of everything here, and I'm going to welcome Dennis to introduce himself and also talk about what is this big announcement at Spend Connect. So Dennis.
All right, thank you, Hirsch. Yeah, so the big announcement, I think it's going to be a game changer for the regulated industries, that now Ariba, SAP Ariba, is becoming FedRamp compliant. What does it mean? It means that thanks to NS2 hosting, SAP NS2, now Ariba will be hosted on a secured system that is entirely based in the US. So that's a game changer, because now SAP Ariba can be leveraged for exchange of documents, information, and transactions, and all now regulated industry customers will be able to benefit from all the automation and the real-time collaboration from Ariba for not just commercial purchases but also Fed purchases. So this is a big difference. Now we're launching CIS-Shield. So CIS-Shield stands for Cognitus Industry Solution Shield. So Shield is all the functional solutions and functional features that we are adding to the NS2 hosting, so that now our regulated industry customers have a full framework to meet their needs. So I'll come to the features in a minute, but really the goal and the objective of this solution is to not only have a landscape, an architecture, and a technical infrastructure for our regulated industries and aerospace and defense customers, but also to provide the framework, to provide the solution, to have a pre-built, robust end-to-end solution where buyers and suppliers can transact together.
Absolutely.
All right.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. And really, I mean, you mentioned the industries and these industries that you mentioned have been looking for a solution. So take us a little bit deeper into it, and what our solution has here.
Right. So this is really designed for regulated industries, because those are the ones that have some really FedRamp requirements. We're talking about aerospace and defense, U.S. Fed civilian, U.S. DoD market, Department of Defense market. Any government contractor that has some requirements to host secure data and have confidentiality and securing of data mandatory will benefit from this. So the NS2 hosting is a game changer for all of these. It's going to come into two different phases, so I'll come to that in a minute. But essentially, now we're going to support FedRamp regulations. We're meeting the CPSR review and audit requirements. So CPSRs, people from the regulated industries know this stands for Contractor Purchasing System Review. So that's a whole framework, and it's a whole list of very specific regulations and very specific requirements for regulated industries that need to be met in whoever works with the government, works with government contracts, and need to transfer the requirements from the buyer to the supplier. So our solution also is going to, I'm going to show that in a minute. It has a list of accelerators, differentiators, pre-built features that all our A&D and other regulated industry customers can benefit from. All right. So, for example, let me come to the features. I have to say that this is going to be deployed into two phases. Phase one, why? Because NS2 is also hosting Ariba according to a phase plan. Phase one would be available at Q4 of this year. So it's coming. It's almost already there. So as soon as December of this year, now Ariba will be hosted on NS2 for the commerce automation, or what we call the SAP Business Network, and supply chain collaboration. So thanks to that, now we're going to be able to leverage the network and leverage all the features from the network and meet these requirements. The phase two, I'll come in a minute, will be for the rest of the SAP Ariba suite, which is source to contract and buying and invoicing. So back to phase one. So now we'll host your Ariba network on an S2. Not just that. What is the CIS-Shield solution going to provide as well? Contract flow down. So as you know, there are some key feeds, key information that must appear on a purchase order going to a subcontractor when it comes to government contracting and in the A&D industry, for example. DPAS rating, right, for the defense priority rating, which is a key information that must be on every PO and for your vendors and the vendors of your vendors. So this needs to flow down from the sales contract to the purchase orders and communicate to your suppliers. The DPAS rating, the military contract number, the NAICS code. So that's a commodity code for suppliers. The call number. All these fields now will be available on the Ariba network, and I'm going to show that in a minute. How we accommodate this on the PO going through the business network. Close flow down. So the DFAR close and the FAR closes flow down from your sales contract to your purchase contract and your purchase order in SAP or whatever ERP system you're using. We're going to take that information and push it to the Ariba, to the SAP Business Network as well, and they will appear on the PO. So again, I'm going to show that. So this is mostly contract flow down, close flow down are the two big features that need to be accommodated for any A&D customer in particular. But also we're providing more functionalities. Business network transaction rules. So you know that when you configure Ariba, it comes with a set of default rules. We're adapting those rules for the regulated industry. So now these rules will be pre-configured to accommodate the very specific requirements for regulated and government contractors. Some reporting, such as your small business report, your incurred cost report, will be generated as well as part of our solution. There's other features such as the Buy American Act. I'm not going to go too much into detail. One of very important features you can see down here is the FedRamp Compliant DMS. So imagine that when you send a purchase order through the network to your suppliers, you may not want to attach it to the PO that goes to the network. You may want to keep control of it for storing and for purging reasons. Imagine if you might need to purge all the data in the future. So we offer an integration with FedRamp Compliant DMS. Any of them can be Huddle, can be Box, can be Ignite, can be your secure SharePoint that you host securely. So now we can send the attachment. So when you generate a PO out of your ERP, we will send the attachment to the document management system to your DMS. And when the supplier receives the PO on the network, it will be able to access those attachments through a secure link and through single sign-on from their side and multi-factor authentication. And as I said, there's also very specific mechanisms and requirements around the change order process. Also source justification when you purchase for the government above a certain amount without going through an RFP or sourcing event, you may have to justify along the process. So all of these requirements would be accommodated as part of our CIS-Shield solution. That's the phase one. And phase two, Hirsch, I'm not gonna, yeah, please go ahead.
I think this is very exciting in phase one itself. So I'm quite sure customers are waiting for this, and it's packed with features, right? So just for our audience to summarize and say what you told us, right? So if there is any implementation of Ariba on NS2, the vast experience that you and your team bring to the table is a game changer. Plus, you've packed into the solution the great knowledge that we've had from the aerospace and defense industry solution to the procurement side of things as well. So not only is it secure in the way it's hosted, from the network perspective, but it's packed with features that are very, very relevant to procurement in the regulated industries.
Hirsch. No, that's a very good point, because it doesn't just come, from books or documents that we try to apply and translate into our solution. This comes from many customers' implementation in the industry. Cognitus has been extremely active and has been the go-to partner in regulated industries for the last 2 years, especially in aerospace and defense. So really, this comes of a long experience gathering requirements, discussing with our customers, and building this robust solution, and always keep adding from one project to the next, right? So really, we've gathered this has really come from this solution has really been built with our customers through the months and last 2 years, and now I think it's a very robust and mature solution that we're ready to implement for everybody, and that now they can benefit from the business network, which is a game changer. I think that definitely for the industry. So if you allow, Hirsch, I'll just explain in phase two. I don't want to spend too much time on it, because phase two, like I said, is gonna come later. So just to remind, phase one, so the network and supply chain collaboration and the business network will be hosted on NS2, and Shield will be available for those components as early as Q4 2022. Phase two will be more around Q4 of 2023, most probably. So that's when buying and invoicing strategic sourcing suite will now be also hosted on NS2. So all these features will now, the contract flow down, what I explained, the close flow down, that will be available in your Ariba buying and invoicing solutions, in your P2P solutions. There's your Ariba supplier management, so SLP, supply lifecycle and performance, will also be leveraged with some specific features and specific requirements for regulated industries, such as the vendor rating system. So your Ariba P2P solution would be enhanced. Your supplier management, also sourcing. There's some very specific steps when you award a sourcing event. When you imagine if you award an RFP for a government customer, you have to make sure that you follow certain steps as well. So we're going to enhance our sourcing templates to accommodate all these steps and requirements, again, along the sourcing work process. So these are really all the features. Without going too much into detail for phase two, because like I said, we still have a bit of time for that. Let me just go and show you, Hirsch, what it looks like in the system.
Absolutely.
All right, so
we've already got some requests in the chat asking in the Q&A to see the demo. So I'm glad that you're pulling that here as well.
All right. So here I'm just going to show. Let me just display a purchase order. I just want to show you. I don't want to spend too much time on SAP, but as you can see, this is a purchase order. I'm sure everybody's familiar with this screen. This is a pretty standard purchase order out of your SAP system. Now you can see that in here we've got from our CIS-AD. So if you want more information, we're definitely happy to give you information about CIS-AD. That's our aerospace and defense package solution that we have in SAP. So as you can see here in the sales contract, there's some information. Like I mentioned, key information that needs to appear on the PO and needs to be communicated to your suppliers, a military contract number, and the DPAS rating, just to name the two of them, and many more as you can see here. So now you see that PO here, you've got also the clauses. The clauses have flown down from the sales contract, okay? These also integrated with acquisition.gov for the ones who are familiar. I'm sure most of you guys will be familiar. So those flow down from the acquisition.gov. When you build a sales contract, you select your clauses that apply to your suppliers, and they flow to your purchase orders. And now you can see that they are here on the SAP PO. If I now look, once this purchase order is transmitted to the supplier over the Ariba network. Sorry, I was just disconnected. Let me just log back in. So I can see now that if I just go and let me just go and open the list of purchase orders. So I'm here on my dashboard. I can see that I have a number of open POs that I received from my customer, the aerospace and defense company. And if I open the exact same purchase order that I was just looking in SAP, now I can see that if I go down, I can review all the PO before I confirm or ship, or leverage Ariba to invoice the supplier through the network. Sorry, invoice my customer through the network. Now, if I go into the details of my PO, this is again the supplier looking at this PO that he's received on the network. Now you can see that all this information is here. So I've got my DPAS rating, I've got my military contract number, and other important information like the call number, NAIC code, etc. That's one. Number two, I can also see that there's an attachment that's been generated. And if I download this, if I look at this attachment, if I open it here, these are all my contract clauses that were flown down again from the sales contract to the PO and now available for the supplier and the Ariba network. So there's a couple of ways that the supplier could see these clauses. Here just show on the PO through an attachment. But there's also other ways, such as you could attach, we have the mechanism to attach the whole purchase order. Also, we can just attach the clauses in the item text of your PO. That would be up to any customer's preference, how they want the suppliers to see this information. So this is really, I think, I could go deeper into the demo, Hirsch, but I think this gives you a good idea of what we have.
Absolutely.
And what customers can benefit.
Yeah, and Dennis, just for our audience here, I want to confirm with you, all this rich functionality comes out of the box in CIS-Shield, right? All
Absolutely.
your knowledge
Yes.
that you acquired in working with aerospace and defense companies that goes into the sales order there now is going into the purchase order also, and is seamlessly flowing from what you're selling to your customers to what you're buying from your vendors.
Right. Yes. And again, Hirsch, right? This is, I just show a sample. There's more to this, right? The DMS integration for secured attachments. The other features, coming in, the change PO process. So when the supplier changed a date that was on the original purchase order from that customer, they need to justify along the way. So any change that happens from either the buyer or supplier need to be justified to the sole source justification as well, like I mentioned earlier. So there's many more functionalities. They come pre-built. So if you, when you implement the SAP Business Network and add CIS-Shield to it, all of this is pre-built. And of course, we're happy to look at other requirements that you may have to implement them.
No, this is fantastic. And this is just a sneak peek, because you are going to show a lot more at the Spend Connect Live in Dallas, Texas, 24th to 26th. So, great opportunity for everybody to really come and meet you and learn about it a lot in person. So, one very important question, and thank you for showing us the brief overview, but really, that I think we've been talking about it, but I think the audience will benefit to learn from you and your perspective. Why Cognitus, and how this journey has matured for you to become a solution?
Thanks, Hirsch. So as you can see here in the screen, right? I also talked about it. I repeated a couple of times during this webinar. Cognitus is really the partner of choice for regulated industries, and in particular aerospace and defense. We've got many active customers right now. We're talking to the main actors on this industry. So we've really become the go-to partner from SAP in A&D. So that's allowed us to acquire tremendous amount of expertise and incorporate that expertise into our solutions, whether it's SAP, whether it's Ariba, the whole landscape. So that's number one. Number two, we have proven expertise, and we're also a leading implementation partner for NS2 hosted SAP implementations. So we've implemented we've brought multiple customers live already on NS2. So that's also a very important factor to consider, because it has NS2 comes with its own complications and complexities when it comes to basis and make sure your SAP is running smoothly on NS2. So Cognitus has acquired through multiple implementations a lot of experience there as well. And finally, we have our own A&D delivery center. They're based in Puerto Rico, so we've got close to 100 consultants that every day just support, implement, and serve all our A&D customers. So really, our footprint is there completely, and I think this really makes us a main actor in this industry. And I think now with NS2, we're ready to work. It's going to be a great 2023, and we're looking forward to talk to all the regulated industry and aerospace and defense customers for their future plans.
Absolutely. This was a great insight, and really thank you for giving us a sneak peek into what customers can expect at Spend Connect Live in Dallas, Texas. We are going to be in booth 206, and the best way to reach out, make some appointments and get to know a little bit more about these solutions is to contact us via email. Both Dennis, mine, and the sales contact emails are here. So all you have to do is reach out. Let's plan, let's meet. There's so much to show in such little time. But before I let you go, Dennis, I already have a couple of questions from the audience, and a very interesting one. We spoke about the FedRamp compliant implementation on NS2. You showed some really important features and functionalities packed into the system. You also mentioned the FedRamp Compliant DMS. So we have a question. Can you just double click into that a little bit? What's that, and what can we expect?
Double click
into the FedRamp Compliant document management solution that you mentioned also.
Right. So imagine, again, in theory, you can attach your documents if you have some drawings, some very sensitive information that you need to attach to the purchase or go to your supplier. In theory, now that SAP Ariba is going to be hosted on NS2, you could just attach it to your PO, and it's going to be transmitted to the supplier through the network. Now, if you want to go one step further in security, if you still want to keep these documents within your own premises, if you want to keep that, not let your supplier consult them, but not own these documents. So you could, what we do is we send the documents into this DMS again, whatever system, DMS or document management system the customer will be using, right? It can be Huddle, can be Ignite. I'm naming the best one. It could be their internal SharePoint. So we send the attachment there, and now, so the customer still owns this information, still owns the attachment. And when the supplier receives a PO, he'll have a link to that DMS. It will be accessible through single sign-on, so they don't have to authenticate again. And then, but then the customer still owns these documents. And also it allows for certain functionalities such as data purging. We've received that requirement quite a bit from our A&D customers, that they want to have, maybe for whatever reason, they want to mass delete or mass control all these documents. They can just purge them and make them disappear in a fraction of a second whenever it's needed. So this is really why the DMS goes one step further into the security, and is part of our offering for CIS-Shield.
Perfect. Thank you, Dennis. Next question we have from the audience. I think this is a fun one always. Implementation of timeline for such a secure solution.
Well, timeline, again, I don't like to to give this kind of answers, but it depends, right? It depends on the scope, it depends on number of suppliers. But essentially, if you could think that the business network can be implemented in 3 to 6 months or even quicker with CIS-Shield, with our expertise, all these are pre-built features and accelerators. So we do not, the bottom line is, I think the very important take out of this is that we do not expect your implementation timeline to increase significantly because of this. This is why it's pre-built. This is why it's already there. It's already proven. It's already running for us. We've been building this for quite a long time, so we do not expect the timeline to increase because of Shield. It's just going to fit into the standard timelines that we have for the business network.
Perfect. Dennis, thank you very much. We really appreciate you coming on the webinar today and giving our viewers a huge peek into what they can expect at Spend Connect. And I already see some requests for us to meet with our prospects, very exciting. And people are looking forward to learning about the solution. And for all, I'm just going to repeat for you, booth 206, 24th to 26th October. Dennis is going to be there in person himself. So please don't forget to just send us an email, reach out to us, on our sales email as well. And we look forward to seeing you. So with that, I just want to thank everyone for joining. It's been great. Interactive session with you, Dennis, and we had some good questions from the audience as well. We look forward to seeing all of you at Spend Connect Live in Dallas, Texas.
All right. Take care. Thanks everyone for joining. Thank you.
Cheers.